GM. Welcome to Meta Radio at MCON. I'm here with my good friend Kevin and Anjali from Collabland. How are you guys doing?
GM.
This is your mic.
Thank you.
There you
So
go.
glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, man. How you guys having fun at MCON?
Yeah, it's the best. This is definitely my favorite conference every single year. Like the vibes here, just too good.
Yeah, the vibe is high. It's been good.
Yeah.
What's your favorite session or panel or any of that you've been to?
Gosh,
so far?
they've all been pretty good. I mean, most of the message is really resonating with me this time, which is like we're in a bear, but we're all here because we love the space and we're all doing like our little bit of it, and let's work together and let's interop and let's collaborate and let's all build our little piece and not compete, but like grow stronger together. Like I feel like that's kind of been the message like permeating all the sessions that I've been to, and that's been really great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really feel like this year there's so much more like parallel work happening that's like very complementary, and a lot of people heading more in similar directions and more like kind of sense of where we want to go with things. So yeah, it's exciting.
For sure. Like that's really it. It's like we're all kind of going in the same direction, but there's more of an interest in working together and building like a composable stack of different pieces that people can like do what they want with that, rather than feeling like we're all like competing over the same piece of pie. Sure. And I think that's just more about like Metacartel and MCON and like who gets attracted to this conference, because it's definitely not the same at other conferences that I go to. Here it definitely feels like there isn't as much like toe stepping. It's like more like, oh, what are you doing and how can I work with you to do that too?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, tell me about what's going on at Collabland. It's been, I imagine, like a pretty crazy last 6 months. I remember talking to James Young about at ETH Denver, about what you guys were up to back then. So.
Yeah, ETH Denver was that was a big time. We thought like we had 3.5 million wallets connected at ETH Denver, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like we're finally getting like some data together, because usually we're not looking at all of that data. We're just working and building and supporting, and just that's the work. But like we were looking and we're like, oh, 3.5 wallets, great. And then just recently we checked again and it was over 6 million wallets connected, which is really for the space, right? Like Collabland is in a lot of ways like the first place people are like joining a community, meeting other builders in the space, meeting other people in the space, getting to know everybody. It's like that first baby step, and that's, you can even see that in the support tickets we get people that are like their first week and even knowing what crypto is, all the way through people that have been crypto native for years. And so it's like kind of the front page or like the front door, and it's been really great. Like the number of people are continuing to grow. July was our highest month of new members that joined. July of this year. In a bear market.
That's crazy.
So it's like people are not only like, maybe initially they were more in like the single player mode, but now they're like, now I want to join a community. Now it's a bear market. Now I need to get together with other people that are in the space, commiserate, collaborate. And so we get the benefit of that. Like they're joining through Collabland communities.
Yeah, it's like, I think the really cool thing about Collabland is, for beginners coming in, most like the mainstream perception of crypto is very much like around financialization and all these things. But as soon as, you have a crypto wallet and you're like signing a message, and signing that message gets you access to a community, like that is kind of like a light bulb moment, I think, for a lot of people, where, it shifts them from just like, oh, people buying and selling NFTs and, all these scams and all these sort of things, to like, whoa, this is like a new way to like connect with people. So yeah, I think that as a primitive is pretty cool.
Just being able to explain that to people, like this is not the financial side. Like there's a whole other side to this that's not financial. And now we're moving more into the identity space, which is another real, like one of the main topics that I'm hearing a lot about as well, is identity. And we're also moving into identity space as well. And so it's like, what can we do now with everybody? It's like, what's this future you want them to see? And now we've all been living online for this long. Like what we do online, like our actions online are just as valuable as the ones that we have offline. So we deserve to own them. We should control them, and we should decide how they're distributed and how they're shared. And so it's like we're all kind of moving in that direction together, like autonomy of the individual, and your behavior online is just as valuable as your behavior offline.
Sure. Yeah, it's like, I think all the identity stuff is starting to become a lot more interoperable, and with the Gitcoin passport too, I'm like super excited about that. It's like it's a great example of how like the open source methodology can start to apply to like not just software but organizations as a whole, where all the work you guys did to build civil resistance for Bitcoin grants and all that hard work can then be now like leveraged and extended by others, just like it was some like open source software.
Yeah. Well, I've actually recently disaffiliated from Gitcoin DAO, which is now running on its own with governance leading the ship. But I've been following some of the work that they've been doing, and I'm really excited by Gitcoin Passport because it allows us to take any on-chain or off-chain data and store it as a verifiable credential on Ceramic, which then can create a personhood score that can be used to create Sybil resistant applications across the entire Web3 stack. And it's been great to talk to other people at MCON that want to adopt this kind of transformation credentialing library that Gitcoin has built there. And I think Collabland and Gitcoin are actually working on an integration right now.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
It's cool to be all working on exploring the identity space together.
Yeah, and that's just the best part, is that you can see we're all like started together and then now kind of growing together in the same direction, because we've all been like mission aligned and understanding what, even without actually discussing it at these early stages, it's like you come to something like this and you're like, wait a minute, everyone's kind of thinking about this in the exact same way. So it's been really satisfying to see that and validating.
For sure. It takes me back to like all the like SDKs we were building back in like 2018. Like what was the one that James had before that stuff? It was like to build like a wallet SDK.
Yep, it was a wallet SDK. That was the first abridged project.
Abridged,
yeah,
yes,
abridged
right.
is still
Yeah.
Collabland was just a project of abridged, and this is the one that everybody wanted.
For sure.
Collabland started off as just a reference implementation of the no-code tooling, and then everyone's like, forget the no-code tooling, we just want Collabland.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, really anything can be a vehicle of what your mission is.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's cool too because like some of the vision early on is now starting to take shape, where the ideas we had early on, we kind of like tried to move fast alone with it, but it was just too early for a lot of those things.
That's
and now
right.
like the whole ecosystem's kind of catching up, and we're now like moving further together by you see different people and organizations developing different parts of the stack and kind of meshing.
That's
together
exactly
nicely.
it though, right? Go fast together. Like
Yeah,
now we
exactly.
can. Like that's the beauty of I think this MCON as well, and now ETH Denver coming up. It's just now people have been building. There's been that bull market gave a lot of people a space to come in and have the funding to build more. And so now it's like the interoperability time, the stacking time, the working together time to like have this message amplified through all of us, not just Collabland alone.
Well, one of the things that's neat for me as the Gitcoin guy at this table is that I didn't come up in Metacartel, kind of came up in the consensus ecosystem. And I wouldn't be here if Joe Lubin didn't believe in me in 2017, but it's just really nice to when I hear go far together, to be able to bolt on a little bit of Gitcoin into the Metacartel and sprinkle a little bit of our ethos in your ecosystem, like the robot smarts,
Nice.
and then a little bit of meta back into the Gitcoin ecosystem, so that social interop leads to technology interop. And I think that's what pluralism will be, is all of us working on these things together.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. It's super exciting. So pluralism, that reminds me, what are these sitting in front of us here?
Yeah. So this is a guide to the Pluriverse. This is basically a new book that Travis Weich from Raid Guild and I have written, and what we're doing is it's an invitation to dream wildly together. We're taking all of the various art and regen culture that has been bootstrapped with the Gitcoin comics and with the GreenPill podcast and in various parts of this ecosystem like Moloch, the Moloch sort of stories, and we're creating a Telegram channel and a social shelling point that we can all define what the Pluriverse looks like. So that's meant to be provocative in that it's not the universe, it's not our physical universe. It's not Stevenson's metaverse, which is like a dystopian metaverse. It's also not Zuck's dystopian metaverse, but it's a Pluriverse of bottoms up metaverses that we are defining together according to our own values. And it is in the pluralism that was seeded by Meta Factory, Meta Cartel, Raid Guild, the whole Meta ecosystem, the whole Moloch ecosystem, Gitcoin ecosystem, and the pluralism of all those people creating a neutral shelling point which we can produce media that's regen and solar punk. And so you can get the Pluriverse guide at pluriverse.wtf. and we're going to be creating stories and media together about what regen looks like, and hopefully bringing that message a little bit more mainstream. So that's our big drop this week, is the Plural Verse guide, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's super dope. Yeah, Travis was sharing this with me last night, and just it was like, mind blowing going through it. And I think it's something super important. We need to do is like tell the stories, and just make fun realities that can have a positive projection of the future. The kind of mainstream perception. So
Well, that's exactly right. We have to be working in that direction. We saw what happened with the first internet, and so now we have an opportunity to learn from that and try to like set the path so that what comes up, they'll remember this sort of thing. So these types of artifacts are crucial.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's super cool. We should get Travis in here and have a conversation with him. But yeah, this has been super great. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
Anjali,
thank
and,
you.
We're gonna be back after a break.
Thanks for
Awesome.
having us,
Thank
Meta.
you. Thank you,
Peace.
Meta.